Dennis Green with Church Development and the Stewardship System. Today's video, volunteers as ministry partners. And again, our desired outcome is to increase generosity. Let's go back for a moment to that definition of stewardship, which is God's blessings flow through me. Money is one way of giving, time and talent is another. And we want to facilitate the giving of time and talent. If that flows, money soon follows. Matter of fact, the Fidelity Fund in 2009 produced a study of volunteerism and discovered that the average volunteer gives more than 10 times what the non-volunteer does. The dollar figures were $2,500 per year for the active volunteer, $230 per year for the non-volunteer. Citibank had a similar discovery when they researched the giving patterns of high net worth individuals. For people who make $1 million a year per more, if they volunteered 52 hours per year or more, they gave 3 times what those who volunteered 51 hours or less per year. Just these 2 studies will tell you you need to find ways to facilitate volunteering in order to increase generosity. But there's a phenomenon that's important to understand when you're organizing volunteer activities in your church. It's called episodic volunteering. If you could imagine your church being divided in 3 concentric circles, with the most involved third at the core, the second most involved third, and then the third, the outer circle that we jokingly call the Christmas and Easter only, the CEOs. The outer 2/3 really need an easy entry point and easy exit point in their volunteering. This will allow them to step in, have a volunteer experience, and step out and discover the joys without the commitment. So for a CEO, when they have a volunteer opportunity to join the finance committee, they might look at it as if it's a terminal disease. Joining the finance committee, I might not get off until I die. So you want to facilitate easy entry and easy exit for those outer 2/3 of your church. Tom Rainer did the research. He copied the research methodology from Good to Great to find the most dynamic churches in this country. He wrote a follow-up book to that one called Simple Church, in which he discovered dynamic growing churches have 3 ongoing activities. They have a dynamic worship, they have lots of social opportunities for people to make social connections, and they have the expectation that people practice their faith by volunteering. Now, there are a couple methods you can do that in your church. The one I like the most is to begin the process by offering a giftedness class where every individual can discover through self-reflection what are the gifts God has blessed me with. That's the first question before you then step into how might I be a conduit for God's blessing. You might choose to have a ministry fair. It's a great idea one day after church. Have all the ministries of your church lined up in your fellowship hall where every individual can walk through and see all the good thing that their church does, and then volunteer, can pick and choose from among those to volunteer for their activities in the year ahead. You might survey your people to find out their interests of where they would like to volunteer, and perhaps you'd find out something new and different. The final and most important is that you have an opportunity for people to make a statement of their intention to volunteer their time. So when you produce a pledge card, my advice is to have an opportunity in which they might pledge their treasure, but also their time and talent. Now let me tell you about 2 success stories that really illustrate the impact that volunteering can have in giving. At St. Thomas More Catholic Church, they had tried to start their campaign for 5 years, start and stop. It led to a great deal of frustration and anger about the possible church renovation. One method we used to dissolve that was to solicit a wide range of volunteers. We had over 100 volunteers on a single committee so that everyone in that church knew somebody who was involved as a volunteer. As a result, not only did we transcend the history of anger and conflict, but we raised over $3.8 million. It's a tremendous success story. At First Presbyterian Church of Kirkwood, they understood the value of volunteering, so they appointed one person, one volunteer, to be the facilitator of volunteers. This person's sole job was to find places people can volunteer. This lay minister did all that we mentioned above, to find people opportunities to plug in and make an impact in the church. As a result, their giving has gone up by 7% per year. So now we've covered what does it look like when you arrange a volunteer facilitating experience to increase generosity. We've talked about methods and success stories. Now go forth, good luck, and God bless.